I'm Ingrid Vliet. I'm usually collection management and youth services on Lopez, but I'm doing all kinds of other things now, as everybody probably is. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen and show some things that we have at our library. And if anybody has questions along the way, you can pipe in, but I will have time for questions at the end too. So this is our website, lopezlibrary.org. And the first thing I want to point out is we have an e-card. If you don't have a library card right now, you can go to this tile and it'll take you to where you can fill out a little form and get a card online. And here you go to the sign up and it'll pop up a little window. So this is for anybody that's never had a library card at the Lopez Library. If you have one that's expired, we prefer that you just call or email us, and we are still answering our phones. Here's the little form. So you just fill this out, and within about 24 hours on a weekday, somebody will get back to you with your new card number, and then you can use that for any of our online resources. And we also have agreements with the Orcas and San Juan libraries. If you are a member in good standing there, you're entitled to get a card with us. And right now we're not really checking up on that. We would probably just give you an e-card if you're from Orcas or San Juan and you want to have access to our e-resources. So let's go back to, here's back to our website. And we also have another quick thing I want to show. We have this tile, stay connected with library resources. And on that one, there's links to, here's COVID-19 health information that will connect you with the county and the state and national resources. And this one, local support and outreach. There was one that I want to show you on that one, or two actually. So if you scroll down, here's Washington State Workers and Business Information and U.S. Small Business Administration Disaster Relief for Washington State. So those could be two useful sites. And these are just free, but these are links to them. So anybody can get to these with or without a library card. Okay, so now I'm going to go to some of our online content that you would need to use your library card number to get into. And the first thing I want to show is called Grant Station. So this is under online content, and then you go to the Grant Station website, and then you want to log, it tells you, let's see. I think it's just Lopez Library to log in. Now I don't see where it, I think I went past that too quickly. Here it is. Login info for the Lopez Library users. Your username and your password are going to be Lopez Library. So that one you don't actually need. I guess probably you don't even need a library card to get into that one. So let's go over here. And any of these, if you're trying to access them and you have a problem, you can either email us, and we have emails on our website, but you can just email Ingrid at lopezlibrary.org or library@lopezlibrary.org. One of us will get back to you. And our phone number is on our website too. We do have that forwarded to somebody's home right now. So the phone does get answered at least between 10 and 5 Monday through Friday. So here we are on Grant Station, and let's see. Now I don't see where I search. I did this just yesterday. Okay, let me, am I moving? Let's see, maybe I'll go to that.
Is it under find?
Is it under, what's that?
Find?
Ah, maybe I'm, let's see. Okay, here we go. So I went into this current funding in the area for COVID. So here then I go to North America and US and Washington State. And I'm not adding anything else in this time around. And so now it brings up just things that might be applicable. Some of them, when you look at them, this first one is North Central Washington, but the second one, here's a Humanities Washington grant. And this is a statewide grant. So this is intended to support nonprofit humanities and cultural organizations facing financial hardship from the coronavirus. And then going down some more, there's one, let's see. Pierce County, here's San Juan Island Community Foundation's Emergency Response Fund. There's one that I passed, let's see. Here we go, Artist Trust. This one is for arts, culture, and humanities organizations also. And I think there's another one farther down. So these ones, so if you were to go to one of these, then you click on that and it actually takes you out to that organization's website. So here's the San Juan Community Foundation and it has their application, terms and conditions. So each different grant, it'll take you to that organization's page and it'll give you some more details. So what GrantStation allows you is just to do a search. And there's, there's other, there's things you can search that don't have to do with COVID-19, but that just seemed like a good one to look at right now. All right, so we're gonna go back to the library webpage. And the main thing that I wanted to show is, it's under online learning. And this is a resource provided to us by the state. So all of the island libraries have it. It's called lynda.com, although I think it's changing its name. It's just been bought by LinkedIn. So it's going to be called LinkedIn Learning. And this one, you have to put in your library card number and your library card password. And then now we're in, and it has all kinds of stuff. Not only, I mean, I expected that it would have a lot of software stuff, but it has, which it does. But here's, we're just at the first landing page. Popular learning paths: become a C++ developer, a front-end web developer, a manager, graphic designer, user experience. So some of these things I don't even know what an expert is. 2D digital animator, video editor. But these are just the ones that they think are really popular. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. Let's see. There's one that I found I wanna show you that's called Get Ahead. So you can always search the library, and I'll show you some other ways to browse. Get ahead in the construction trade. So here you see it, there's a learning path, a course. So let's go into this learning path for a minute. So this isn't even, I mean, there may be software involved, but this is all about construction. So this is a learning path, which is like a large, it's a set of courses. So there's 12 hours of video tutorials, and then they have it set up so you can practice what you learned. And then at the end, if you want to, you can take a test to certify that you have learned this content. And to do that, you need to contact the library, and then we set it up through the state. I haven't actually had anybody in the last couple of years that's wanted to be certified in anything, so it'll be a new experience. But I would love to see somebody use this, because these courses are things that you might pay a lot of money to do a similar course through the community college or through some other online resource, and all of this would be free to anyone through the libraries. So here's this one that's all about construction, and you can see the different courses. So each, like this one is 4 hours and 16 minutes. That's just the videos, and then you'll have to, you know, stop and do some practice on whatever they're teaching you. So it's going to take you more than 12 hours to finish this course, but that's just the video content that's involved. So, and you can, on any of these, you can do the certification, but you can also just do the modules that are helpful to you to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do right now. So we're going to go now. I'm going to do another search. Website design. So a lot of businesses might be wanting to put up a website if they don't have one right now, or just do some work to redesign their website. So there's over 10,000 results for website design. So there's individual videos. This is just a 2-minute video, and here's some more videos. Here's a course. So this is a 43-minute video. That's a course, and we'll have some practice with it. And then if you keep going down, you'll get to, here's a playlist, design a website using InDesign, design a website using Muse, design a website using Dreamweaver, using Fireworks, using Illustrator. So, you know, there's a lot of different options within. If you want to learn about website design, you can probably find whatever software you have or have access to. And here's a learning path, become a web designer. So let's look at that one for a minute. So this is another one. This is 28 hours of video tutorials. And let's see, does it say how many? I thought it said somewhere, but I don't see that. Anyway, so you have 28 hours of video. You could certify, or you could just go through and see which ones are most pertinent to you and just do those ones. So once you're in here, there's this other thing up here that says learning paths. If you go to learning paths, then it will show you all the different learning paths that there are, and kind of divided up by topic. So 3D and animation, there's all those ones. Audio and music, there's several. And then we get to business. So everything from become a bookkeeper, a project coordinator, become a small business owner, become a manager, and here's become a Microsoft Office specialist. There's all these different, improve your organizational skills. There's just the possibilities that seem almost endless. These are all still just under business. And then we get to the end of that, and there's CAD. So there might be some design, developer. So there's just all kinds of things in here. Let me see, there are a couple other things I want to show. Oh, you can go also to library here, and you have this little drop-down menu. So then you can hover over business, and it shows you all the different topics, the different software, the different learning paths, and they're kind of showing you the most popular ones at the top. And then you could also do see all, and there's some guides, starting a business and becoming a manager. And then down here to look at a few other ones, education and e-learning. So teachers also could be, I mean, I think they're a little too busy to be doing this right now, but over the summer, perhaps teachers might be interested in pursuing some of the possibilities in here, or just somebody that wants to, if you have a business and you have employees and you want them you want to produce some little tutorials for them, this could have some good resources for you to figure out how to do a nice little video to teach your employees something. Let's see. Are there any questions? Oh, let's see. I'm going to take you back to just clicking on this lynda.com takes us back to that first page. So here's continue watching. Here's, I looked up, I was looking up plugins in WordPress because that's something I need to figure out how to do. So there's some videos that I had looked at. And then there's also these, you can set up playlists. So I just set up a couple of example playlists. Here's some more construction type courses that I found just in a quick search that I added. Construction industry safety, math foundations, reading civil construction drawings. So just all kinds of things that I would not have, drones in construction, that I would not have had any idea was available on Lynda. And here's my EDC playlist that had some things, leading a small business through crisis. Well, here we are. How to be an adaptive employee during change and uncertainty. Help yourself tech tips, HTML essential training. And here's a Shopify course. If you need to set up kind of an e-commerce website, then here's some tutorials in that. So just quite a few different options here, and it'd be great to see this resource get some more use. Anybody have any questions about anything?
I had a question, but also before I forget, so thanks for pointing out the Shopify one. We actually had a question about that a couple of weeks ago. So and none of us in the office had used Shopify. So at that, fortunately, we were able to point that person to somebody else who could help them. And it would be really nice to be able to point some of the businesses that have come to us and asked us about how to do online commerce where we don't have any particular platforms that we use because we don't sell much. But one thing I was wondering about is for some things like the construction courses, I was thinking about one of the problems we've found in the county is that for people seeking trades training, where you need an apprenticeship or some sort of other sort of technical school pathway.
Right.
People have to leave the county to go get those trainings, and often work with a company that's not in the county because there aren't any programs on the islands. Do you know if the certifications through lynda.com might help people get sort of a jump start on it? So for example, like sorry to ramble a bit, but like the plumbing apprenticeship is like a 5-year program. So I can see that maybe if one could get a year ahead taking some of these courses, it might be a lot easier for somebody to go do that and come back rather than just be.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any specific knowledge about that, but I would think that and I don't know if there's anything, for example, about plumbing, let's see. But the construction trades one, I mean, I think what it would do is it's still not getting you hands-on experience, obviously, this course, but you would learn some concepts that you would be able to apply. And I would think that if you do the online courses, oh, look, here's plumbing drawings, cert prep for mechanical and plumbing. Like, I don't know what some of these are, but definitely there's some things. So I think if somebody was interested in one of those trades and found some resources on here and did the course, this is where I would really recommend that it might be well worth doing the certification, because it's not going to cost you anything but your time. And then when you can show that actual certification that you've done this training, and then you go to somebody to get a job in plumbing or to get your apprenticeship in plumbing or construction or whatever, then you can already say, look how motivated I am, and here's some knowledge that I have, and I would like to put that to use if I could work under you and, you know, learn more of the hands-on. So I think I don't know if it would actually shorten the process, but I think it would definitely jumpstart somebody a little bit and help them get hired in an apprentice role or a beginning kind of job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can search on anything. I just like plumbing. So if somebody comes to you wanting to know how to use some other platform instead of Shopify, that was just one that I randomly came across and thought, oh, look, this is something somebody could use. But I don't know the names of other ones, but I think you could probably just search and find something here.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
really all I have. I will, let's see, I forgot, how do I stop sharing? Oh, here we go, stop share. There, now you don't have my screen anymore.
Well, thank you. Boyd, do you want to talk about the resources that you were going to describe?
Sure. So my name's Boyd Pratt. I'm the Adult Programs Associate with the San Juan Island Library. Usually I do adult programs, setting them up and things like that. But Nikki et al. Tapped me in terms of the actual website and resources that are available that way. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And go from there. So what you're looking at is the San Juan Island Library screen, so sjlib.org. And I just want to reiterate kind of what Ingrid was talking about in terms of actual resources that are available in terms of the library itself. So if you go to our homepage, you too can get an e-card just by applying it. We're checking both our emails and phones daily, so people will get back to you in terms of registering that and things like that. We also, on the homepage, I'm not going to show you that, but we also have COVID-19 resources and things like that. So what I'm looking at right now is the actual online resources page of our library website. And if you go down there, there are several categories they're doing it. And I'm going to be going into learning and legal eventually. But I thought I'd start with this lower one, which is useful links. And what it has is a number of local and state and federal links. But one of the interesting ones that came across right away was a food workers card testing. And that takes you to a site of actually taking the food workers card test. Lovell and I had a small business, small farm, and we did catering and things like that. And then also with my library job, we had refreshments when we, when we actually had people in the library, we serve refreshments. So I did have a food workers card, and this is a really, really easy way to do it. And I think it's really, if you're interested in doing that, to pursue that. The other thing under the useful links thing is all this building code information links. So if you're in construction at all, there's all these really pretty amazing links to the codes themselves. And so that's a great resource. And the final one I want to point out is on the lower left here, we've got both IRS forms and publications and IRS free file. So there's resources for anybody's business or job that way. So I'm going to go back to the actual online resources page, and I'm going to first go to learning. And I'll just note that we also have Linda here on the San Juan site, you will have to sign up, like in the Lopez Library, to do it. But as Ingrid really pointed out, it's just a fantastic site, and I really recommend it. What I'd like to explore with you a little while is this site called Learning Express. And if it'll come up.
Quick question while it's loading. Do you guys also have the reciprocity with the other islands?
I think we do. You know, when Ingrid mentioned that, I was wondering about that. I know when we had the card, the physical card, you actually had to be a resident of San Juan Island. But during these COVID times, I'm just not sure. But I'll try to get back to you about that.
Okay, thank you.
Normally how it works for us is that somebody comes in with their Orcas or San Juan card, and we don't actually use that card, but they say, you know, I have an account at one of the other libraries and I would like to get one with you. So we call over and we make sure they're in good standing, which means they are current and they don't have overdues or anything blocking them. And then if that is all in order, then we get them a card. And I wouldn't say we have more than a couple dozen people, and mostly probably only a handful that regularly use that are from other islands that use our library. I don't think many people know about it even.
Yeah. Okay. So under this site, the Learning Express, there are several of these areas, and I just want to point out the adult core skills area, which is not specifically about job searching or changing jobs or things like that, but it does have a lot of information in regard to just honing your own personal skills as an adult. So it's really great to do. It also has various school center, college application, high school, and college students. So there's a lot of other learning resources backing it up, but it's really the career preparation that I wanted to look at with you. And it offers several kind of two really general fields that we'll go into, but then there's some very, very specific exams that you can take. So for instance, air traffic controller exam, if you want to pursue a career that way, or the civil service exams. One I suspect is really popular is the commercial driver's license, which, you know, if you're doing any sort of freight work or stuff like that, you have to have. But there's a wide variety of things. And so these things can link in with the Linda thing. So for instance, prepare for electrician and plumbing exams. You can work through this site to do that. A lot of other things, the nursing exams, real estate, and teaching. So these are great resources. When you actually go to learn about a career, they break it down into several career opportunities this way. And so if you're just thinking about, okay, I want to change my careers, or I'm looking into a new career, but you don't really know what it entails, I think these are great ways to do it. So, and again, a wide variety of health, caseworker, culinary arts. And so if we explore one of those, becoming a culinary arts professional. And so you then sign it in and go for the thing. Oh, and I also, sorry. I also, in these uncertain times of the actual changing careers. So this is actually a great way to, you know, say, okay, is this a good idea or not? You know, am I really going to get anywhere if I change careers and things like that? So. So if you are going to be looking for a job, these are, I think, two important areas that are kind of a meta approach to job searching. One is that that you can, if you're actually looking for a job, you can improve your job searching, interviewing, and networking skills. So they talk about, you know, how to conduct a successful job search and doing resumes and cover letters, interviews, what about your salary and negotiation, things like that. And the other one is more of, you know, how to actually build your current career and improve skills that way. So strengthen your business writing skills and then succeed on the job. And again, it also has a sub-listing of all those exams that you can take for this site. Okay, I'm going to go back to the online resources again. And I'm going to actually go to another field, and that is the legal field, which is right here. And what it takes you to is the Legal Information Reference Center. And this is, I think, a really great database in terms of trying to find out legal issues in regard to both running a business and also having a job. So, and the main, let me point out that this little sign-in function is not necessary in terms of actually going through a site and things like that. But if you do want to actually save your searches and figure out in the same way that Ingrid did in terms of Linda, of showing the various things that she had looked at and wanted to pursue, then you establish an account and you establish folders, and you can then put these various contents into these folders. The three main areas that I looked at were business and corporations, money and financial planning, four areas, patents, copyright and trademarks, and then property and real estate down here. So if we go into business and corporations, so these are, again, the listing here is what we just looked at in terms of the menu itself. This is specifically under business and corporations. And there are just some really cool things here. So business accounting and audits, buying and selling a business, starting a business. So, you know, this is really kind of a key thing here is form a partnership, form your own limited liability company. So again, Lovell and I had a small farm. We also catered. I now, under our limited liability company, do publishing and research and all sorts of stuff like that. It actually took us some time with a lawyer to set it up quite a few years ago, but this is certainly a great beginning to figure out how to do the process itself and how to register with the Secretary of State that way. Again, buying or selling a business, consulting and contracting, employee rights, human resources, making a profit. That's always a great thing to know. Sales and marketing and things like that. I will say that in terms of consulting and contracting, I mentioned that Lovell and I have an LLC. I recently got a contract with the National Park Service, which is a federal agency. In order to do so, I had to get a SAM account, which I can't remember what it stands for. But in order to do that, I actually went to the EDC, and Victoria and Mickey connected me with a consultant down in Lacey who actually walked me through the process of setting up a SAM account. So I think the EDC is just a wonderful resource in terms of if you have very specific honed questions about how to proceed, that's a great way to do it.
Thank you. Thanks for the shout out.
Yeah, you bet. So the money and financial planning is really more about personal finances and things like that. Although it does have your business taxes. So this is, again, another great thing where every landlord's tax deduction guide, man, you know, we have a lot of people who are renting or do Airbnbs or stuff like that. I know we're not active right now, but we will be. And so it's a great resource. Surviving an IRS tax audit, everybody needs to know that, and stuff like that. Okay. Identity theft is one of the things that's really interesting. I noticed that, I don't know about your library, Ingrid, but we've had several people actually applying for employment security relief through fake accounts through several of our library members. So this is something, you know, people are really taking advantage of criminals are really taking advantage of the moment to hack into or create a false account for you and do it. So you really, I think you need to be aware of that sort of thing. And I know that again, the EDC has been really helpful in terms of telling us how to proceed and how to prevent that. So that's really important. Okay, this is a field I know absolutely nothing about. And if I were to get into, except for copyright in terms of books, which I've done, but if you are getting into these fields, these are really, really critical things to do. So if we go to copyright, for instance, there's a handbook, you know, getting permission, actually getting a copyright yourself, and things like that. So I think this is really a critical thing if your business is in any field that involves these sort of categories. So you've made a great song. It's being played all over. And you want to make sure that you actually get the credit for it. So you really do need to go into music law and pursue that you have licensing agreement and stuff like that. So I think it's again, it's a real important tool that way. By the way, as you saw in that last one, most of these links will actually take you to articles or forms that are legal documents that you can then pursue. Okay, the final thing I wanted to look at is property and real estate. And again, some of this is personal or, you know, personal finances in terms of actually buying a house or foreclosure or homeowners and things like that. But there are two of these that are really, I think, pretty critical. One is landlords and property management. So there's a lot of things in terms of if you actually own property and are leasing or renting it, what you ought to know in terms of your legal rights and legal rights and obligations. And then the other thing, of course, is renters or tenants' rights. So that's kind of the flip side of it. And so from a business point of view, I think if you are renting or leasing, you need to know what those tenants' rights are in that regard.
I think there's definitely a lot of interest in both of those at this point because there's a lot of people who are, a lot of businesses that are having trouble with the rent, and then there's, of course, there's the landlords who are not having trouble because they don't have, their tenants can't pay too. So
yeah, I think it's really important. I think that's about it in terms of our sites and what I want to go through. So I didn't know if there are any questions about this or.
well, if you could find out about the reciprocity, that'd be great, because I think some of this site might be really useful for us to point people to for a couple of those things on our website. But
Yeah.
for us, it would be a lot better if we could be sure that that
Okay.
anyone in San Juan County can get to it.
Yep, I will check on that.
Thank you.
It looks
Yeah,
like you
thank you.
can get into quite a lot of things without actually having to log into this one though.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, right. So this one is a non-login one. It's really the Learning Express that was the login, but I'm sure we can figure out how people can access that.
Mhm. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.